Here we go. Just getting set up here. Welcome everybody. About ready to get started again. How was everybody's weekend? See some people popping in here to the live stream. All right, so let's get this project loaded back up again. Sorry, I'm running just a couple minutes late today. Just coming back home from out of town from the weekend. So I'll just open up my project here and we'll go over what is going on with it. Can people hear me okay? All right. Hey, good to see you, Hasine, not sure how to pronounce that. Hope I got that right. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. So let me open up actually the concept art for this one. All right, so the concept art we're working on is this artwork by Jim Woodring. And I'm actually going to put a link to this image in the chat. So anybody who wants to open it up can open this up and check out that reference while I'm working on it. So last time we got pretty far along with this. Got a lot of the details established, a lot of the asymmetry in place. And what I want to do this time is really just dive into the finalized details. So we've got a couple different heads here. And there's, hey Alexis Kondo, good to see you, thanks a lot. So there's some designs on the foreheads, and what I want to do is I have to kind of make up a design for the third forehead, which is on this head that's facing the opposite direction. So I'm just going to make up something for that, and then I want to get this pattern, this design here that goes kind of on the neck between heads. So we'll create something for that, and then we'll just fine tune details and just kind of dial everything in and finish it off today, probably in the next 2 hours, and then we'll be done with this. So really excited to see how this turns out, and thanks for everybody who's here joining me on this today. Okay, so we almost finished up with this design on this forehead right here. There's just a few things left to do to it. I'm just going to kind of bring these different pieces together a little bit more precisely. So seeing a message here from Emilne. I think I saw your email too. I was curious. I'm not sure why that's not working. I'm gonna have to look into that because it should be the latest version. I know I gave it to somebody else, and they reported that they had hollow, and so I'm curious as to what's going on with that. When I'm done with this live stream, I'll take a look into that for you. Yeah, glad you appreciate the tools. I'll definitely figure out what's going on. We'll get that straightened out for you there. Hey, Michael. Thanks a lot for that. Anybody familiar with the artist Jim Woodring before this? He's one of my favorites. Also, anybody here from Ecuador by any chance? I am going to Ecuador this winter in December, some of January, maybe even February. We'll have to see about that. Hey, Alex F1. What part of Spain are you from? I've always wanted to go to Spain and never been there. Oh, Malaga. So that's really interesting. Have you? So there is a an art museum in Malaga. I can't remember the name of it, but right now is an art exhibit by the artist Mark Whalen, and he's one of my clients. So if you go to that exhibit, I think if you search Mark Whalen Malaga exhibit, it's open right now, I think. And so yeah, I worked on all the digital sculpture for his pieces, and then it was 3D printed and then molded and cast into aluminum, I think. And so that's a cool thing you can check out right now, where you are in your hometown. All right, so I'm going to put on the final head design, and we're just going to make up something off the top of my head, so to speak. Just trying to keep it in the same shape language, the same universe as the existing patterns, and we'll just see what we come up with. Just have to rotate this thing around. So I got a question here from Conceptual Visions asking if I work only in ZBrush or if I use other software. Yeah, I do use other software, but my primary software is ZBrush. Sometimes I'll jump into Maya. Sometimes I'll occasionally use some other 3D software, but it's like 95% of the time, 98% of the time in ZBrush, and then like 4% of the time in Maya, and maybe 1% of the time in something else. So just fine-tuning this design. I want it to be fitting into the same shape and sort of feel as the other pieces here. So just trying to like see what I need to add or remove to maybe help it fit into the same world as the other designs. Maybe I'll add just a little extra thing here. All right, that'll work. So let's extract this off as its own object. Somebody's requesting that I show my full screen. So let's see. So now you can see what I have on my other monitors. So I've got my interface extended out into other monitors. So yeah, you can see what my full interface looks like now. Yep, my interface, it's a strong flavor. So the way I extend my interface into another monitor is basically just grabbing the ZBrush window and resizing it. So instead of maximizing the window, I've got it in this this mode. Actually, you can't really see it because I'm moving the window around, but the streaming software moves with the window. So, but basically, I just pull the edges of the window out into other monitors, and then I have my custom UI in the parts of the interface that are on the other monitors. So in my main monitor, I've got my work, and then my laptop monitor has all these buttons down below, and then my left vertical monitor has this palette, the tool palette on here on the left. So it's really nice. I could just have all my work just in one monitor, full screen. Hey, Uzar1S. Uzaris, maybe. All these difficult to pronounce usernames. Doing good, thanks. What's new? Hey, Uzaris. Yeah, so the standard Ryan's Tools doesn't come with any brushes. That's just with the Pro version. Hey, Michael Perez. Great to hear from you. Yeah, so Alex F1, this is, I'm making this with 3D printing in mind, even making it with a vinyl toy in mind. However, there are some considerations when making a vinyl toy. You have to be aware of undercuts and hollow spaces and a lot of things. So I'm not going to get really nitpicky into making sure it's good for vinyl, being a vinyl toy, but I'm going to render it as if it is a vinyl toy. And but yeah, definitely making it with 3D printing in mind. Yeah, the standard plus doesn't come with the brushes. It's just the Pro version that's $20. So you guys, I'm talking about Ryan's Tools, my plugin for ZBrush. In case anybody doesn't know, I'm going to put a link here in the chat. And you can go get yourself a copy. There's a free version that's it's limited to the older version. And then there's a paid version and a Pro version that comes with some extras. You're asking for a 5% discount? That's like a few cents off. Yeah, there's a question about using array mesh with radial symmetry. I don't know that I've tried doing that very much, honestly. I think, yeah, there's some when you compound multiple things together on top of each other like that, you can get some weird results. I haven't actually tried that combination, I don't think. So, maybe one of these days I'll play with it. But right now, with my live stream, I'm just want to focus on this right now. All right, all right. I'll just go back to standard view here, you guys, so you don't have to look at my UI. So there's some questions about like what computer and what tablet I'm using. I'm just using a Wacom tablet, and my computer is a medium to medium high range gaming laptop. Medium high range gaming laptop. Nothing too crazy. Hey there, guy whose name is in Russian and I don't know how to pronounce it. How's it going? Using the new Adjust Last feature, ZBrush just added, so when you stroke on anything really, you can slide the Adjust Last, which is under Stroke, and Adjust Last, and you can like increase or decrease the intensity of it. I like it. It's actually a really cool feature. So there's a question from Zeltomorph about finding concept art on Pinterest. Can you just turn it into 3D and print it? Yes, you can. You can sculpt whatever you want. You can sculpt Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter. The problem is if you try to sell it. If you want to sell it, then you're going to run into problems with copyright. But just sculpting anything, 3D printing it, you're fine. Actually, well, you're legally fine. There are some companies, some 3D printing companies, that like if you make a model of 3D of Mickey Mouse, for example, and you want to go print it, they won't print it for you because they don't want to run into any legal issues. But if you're just printing it on your own printer, or you just find a company that's okay with printing it for you, you'll be fine. Okay, so I've got the different head designs done. Now the next thing I want to do is make these patterns here that are in between the two necks, right? And so I'm just going to do one and then copy it for the other three. I'm going to do the same pattern. Just make it easier for myself. Got this other reference image that is higher resolution. Should help me see what's going on a little bit more easily. Hey Brucifer, 2008 Full Sail grad. Cool, good to see you here. How's it been going since 2008? Yeah, that's cool that you remember me. What was your focus, Brucifer? Hey Puffy, it's going good? I have been pretty good lately, thanks. Yeah, you too, Brucifer. I hope you get to do some ArchViz. What have you been doing, if not ArchViz, lately? Started playing a game with my girlfriend called It Takes Two. Anybody played It Takes Two? No, I don't work for Pixologic. They don't pay for the live streamers. It's just a fun way to interact with the community. Hey Katri 3D, good to see you here. How's it going in Pakistan? Hey Spirit Lake. So it's a cooperative two-player game, third-person view 3D, and it's a bunch of fun challenges like puzzles and environment stuff. Your two characters. It's a split screen, or you can play it over the internet, but you have to work together to solve puzzles. It's pretty fun. I got stuck at this one spot I can't figure out though. Bob Ross vibes. We're doing some happy little mutants here. Oh, my battery's running low. You guys hold on. I forgot to plug in my laptop. Hopefully the stream doesn't die. It's a race against time. Phew. Got it. That was close. The way my battery is, once I get that warning that it's at 5%, I mean, it could die within 10 seconds. So that was close. Yeah, I play the game on PC. Brucifer can't even remember what you focused on in CAP. That's hilarious. I mean, it is a super stressful time. Don't blame me for forgetting. And it was a long time ago. Never heard of Battle Royale aims. Or games, I guess you mean Battle Royale games. Oh, you mean like PUBG? Nope, never played those games. Hey, Anthony Benoit. Thanks for that. Baby's first puke. Oh my god, what a hilarious name. Thanks for stopping in, Baby's first puke. I'm not going to worry too much about retopology on this. It's not going for animation, so I'm really just using ZRemesher sometimes to help clean up some geometry if it's useful, but not really worrying about topology too much. So this actually might be a good instance to talk about that array mesh with radial symmetry that somebody was talking about. So what I need to do is I need to have this one pattern duplicated around these three sides. So I'm going to use array mesh for that. So actually, let me bring back my crazy interface. And so you can see here, so let's turn on array mesh. And turn that on. Let's see, we need 3 of them. Let's see, we'll rotate around the y-axis, 360. And it looks like it's got the pivot point in the center of the world already, so it looks like everything is right where it needs to be. Yep. The interface isn't for everybody. So let's see what happens when I turn on radial symmetry. So the radial symmetry is going to be applied to the original object, not relative to the array mesh in its entirety. So that can be confusing for some people because you might expect this radial symmetry to go around the entire array, but it's just going to go around the originating object. So it's actually not useful for what I want to do right now, so I'm going to turn radial symmetry off. And I'm just going to make some adjustments to this one, and you can see those changes are updating on the other three, or the other two. What I can do now is on the main model, I can turn on radial symmetry for this. And so what we can do here now is do some sculpting. So these objects here, as you can see, they're kind of depressing into this shape. So we can use this now. To sculpt some of that depression happening in there. But I'm going to do this a little bit more elegantly. It is a giant monitor, Tony Cruz. It's actually 3 monitors. So I just recently finished watching The Good Place. Anybody else watch that show? So good. I'm thinking of doing a cartoony, like, caricature version of Cheaty as my next piece for the live stream. Anybody think that's a good idea? You know me, pun is always intended, Brucifer. I think I'll do two of them. I'll do Chidi and Eleanor. I'll render them together. I wish I knew the answer to that, Saeed. I don't really use Z-spheres, so I just don't have the answer for you. Sorry. Hey, case cover. Glad someone from Jamaica is here. How's it going? All right, things are really coming into place now. Just a few final tweaks to get everything in place. So Jace cover brush technique, sloppy brush strokes. You might want to play with the lazy mouse. That can help you get cleaner strokes. But right now I'm trying to figure out why this array mesh isn't doing what I expect it to do. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. Array mesh can be tricky. One thing that I'm confused about with on array mesh is sometimes it arrays around the world pivot and sometimes it rotates around the local center, and I'm really confused as to why it picks one or the other. Because when I did array mesh for these objects here, it did it around the world center, but now for these things it's doing it around the local center, and I'm like, what? So I might just give up on array mesh altogether and just duplicate and rotate. All right, now we just need to get the head designs rotated to match. Hey there, oil change. It's going good, just getting some sculpting done. All right, cool. We got all the forehead designs in. Got the neck designs in. Got the weird tooth things in. Oh, you know what? There's actually one more significant thing I forgot. The teeth in the mouth. So let's go ahead and get those in. So oil change, this thing is it's based on this artwork by Jim Woodring. So it looks like 6 teeth on the bottom, 7 teeth on the top. So I'm just going to make 1 tooth to start with. We'll just duplicate it out. Supa has a question about how I have this neat gizmo. So this is my own custom gizmo, and it's also part of Ryan's Tools Pro. I'm putting a link here in the chat to Ryan's Tools. So you just follow that link. The Pro version is $20. It comes with special brushes, materials that I've made, this custom gizmo, etc., etc. So yeah, hopefully check that out. Yeah, the question from Alex is, do I wish I had more pivot options in ZBrush? For sure. There's, yeah, a lot of times where I'd like to be able to store a pivot, like have an object have like a discrete pivot that you can place in 3D space and always come back to. That would be nice. Ryan's Tools does have some cool options actually for moving the pivot. Let's see if I open up Ryan's Tools here. Well, I've got it in my interface right here, so I can move the gizmo to the top, the bottom, the front, the back, the left, the right, and it'll just snap. So if, let's say if I want to move the whole thing to the top, just click on top, and now it goes to the top of the object's bounding box. And or I think if I just have this masked like this, let's see, yeah, so I can go to the top or bottom, whatever is masked off. So then I could move that from that point or from the bottom point. So yeah, Ryan's Tools. Always a new reason to get them. The teeth are looking pretty good, actually. They could be just slightly thinner. It's a good time to save. Oh, you know what? There's actually one thing I didn't do. And that is the sort of like lower mouth. In the original art, like this one's shaped a little bit different. So the third one I should probably shape a little bit more uniquely as well. So we just move these teeth over to the mouth it belongs with, which is this one. Now I'll make some tweaks to this mouth. Let's see. So the frowny face is kind of closed up a little bit more. And I invented this like ooh face. So maybe I'll make this mouth kind of ooh faced a little bit as well. What's up, Slay Shadow? Good to see you back again. Yeah, Slay Shadow. You can find courses that I've made on LinkedIn Learning and lynda.com. Just search my name, Ryan Kittleson, on YouTube, or YouTube. You can search on just Google, and you'll find all kinds of stuff I've made. Wait, what am I doing? Oh my god, you guys. I was putting the teeth in the lower mouth, not the upper mouth. Oh boy. What a goofball. Alright, well, let's put them back where they belong. It's going to take a little bit of retweaking to get it all fixed up here, but shouldn't be too hard. Isn't my UI fancy? I got such a fancy UI. I feel like I should be sculpting with a top hat and monocle. So fancy. Yeah, the teeth each has their own polygroup. But even if they had all the same polygroup, you could still use the trick where you use the move topological brush set to 0 brush size, and in that mode, it just grabs individual objects and pulls them as a single, unit without deforming them. It's one of my favorite little tricks. Good call on the quick save. Doing a little save right now, just taking a second. Yeah, is that freaky enough, everybody? You like this level of freakiness? All right, let's look around and see if there's anything left. Oh wait, that was freaky. Why did that just happen? Teeth just shifted out of the mouth. Okay. Let's look around and see if there's anything left I want to clean up. I'm going to tweak some of the transition here. This was where the seam was between two shapes. So I just want to clean this up a little bit. Dark Seal Studios, thanks for stopping in. Oh, nice. Man Bear Pig. Somebody knows Jim Woodring's work. That's one of the characters. Yeah, this does kind of have some of the facial features of Man Bear Pig. Or actually, oh, sorry, I'm confusing Jim Woodring with South Park. South Park has Man Bear Pig. Jim Woodring has one of, in his graphic novels, there's a character named Man Hog, which actually kind of sort of is like Man Bear Pig. Anyway, yeah, I was confused there for a second. All right, I'm going to make one little adjustment to the tail. Okay, so I got the tail centered underneath the head, got it rotated so that it lines up with the original art. All right, and this piece is done. I'm gonna save it, and then I'll just jump into Keyshot really quick and just see what some quick renders of this looks like. I haven't optimized any of the models. Some of them are really dense, and so it's going to take a little bit of extra time to bring it into Keyshot. Hopefully it doesn't run too slow. One thing I could do to optimize it is decimation master, but then I would lose subdivisions on some objects, so I don't necessarily want to do that. All right, let's see if we can find a good material for this. So those vinyl toys are a little bit translucent. So I might want to use a material with subsurface scattering. So the subsurface scattering is going to make it take longer to render, but we're just playing around with some settings, so just thinking what this might look like. All right, I'm just going to kick off a render. And this is just going to render for the next 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll see what we get. Basically, this is the end of work on this model. So thank you guys for joining me on this journey of creating this piece. Again, this is based on the artwork Worse and Worse by Jim Woodring. And check out some more of his work on the internet, buy some of his books. He's a cool guy. I met him once, and just an amazing artist. So check out his handiwork. Yeah, Ruben, I just jumped into Keyshot at the very end to do a render of this guy. So we're just doing a nice high resolution render of this over the next 10 minutes. So hopefully this turns out nice. Got some subsurface scattering going on it. So hopefully it won't come out too grainy in just 10 minutes. But yeah, one thing I could do is prepare this for 3D printing. So for doing that, I would probably want to hollow it out. And my Ryan's Tools plugin has some tools for hollowing out. You just mask off where you want that hollow to be, and then just click hollow, set your thickness, or set your thickness first, then click hollow, and it creates a nice little Boolean subtraction hollow object, which you can then use to subtract out the hollow interior, and then yeah, export it for 3D printing. So glad you guys have all been able to join me for this. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. You know, it's a lot of fiddling around, a lot of tweaking and fine tuning, but when it all comes together in the end, it's pretty satisfying to see. Maybe it could be like a vase, you know, like this, the 3D printed object, or you get like a vinyl toy of it. You know, you could stick your pencils in there. Nice little pencil holder. I think I'll print one out myself, have it for a pencil holder. That'd be pretty sweet. Put my Wacom, make this actually a receptacle for the Wacom pen. Stick my pen in there. That'd be pretty sweet. Oh yeah, Supa. So the way I made the tail, I actually tried it a couple different ways. I originally made it by making the tail straight down and then trying to use a bend curve deformer to twist it into the shape, but it was creating too many problems. So I actually just used the curve multi-tube and drew it out into this shape, and then puffed out some parts thicker, made some parts thinner, and then extracted this black shape after the fact. So yeah, that actually took like 2 or 3 tries to figure out the best way to make that shape. But that's the way it goes in ZBrush, you know. Sometimes you got to try a couple different ways. So yeah, a couple things that I had to cheat a little bit on the design. You can see in the original, it looks like there's 8 of these black lines coming down from the top of the tail, and but it looks like it actually turns into 4. By the time it gets to the end of the tail, it looks like there might only be 4 of these. So I kind of cheated and just had 8 the whole length, because otherwise, like, how do you turn 8 into 4 without having some sort of like obvious change in the design? A couple other things I cheated. These 2 heads in the original art are kind of like facing more forward, but in order to maintain the trilateral symmetry of it, they're looking a little bit more out to the side relative to the original art. But other than that, I stuck pretty close to the original art. Let's see how the render is coming out. Cool. It's almost halfway done. But then again, it's almost 10:30 here, so this live stream is going to be ending soon. But I started a little bit late, so you know what? I'll run it a little bit late. We'll just wait the next like 6 minutes until this render finishes, and I'll just hang out and chat with you guys. Maybe I'll look around to see if there's any things I want to fix. Maybe some of this shape got a little bit lumpy, and I can just kind of smooth some things out while I'm waiting. Thanks, Katerina. Always nice to have people showing up, regardless of whether they're modelers or not. Thorns and Arrow, is that a play on the title of the piece, Worse and Worse? I'm just a little bit worried that even after 10 minutes, this render is going to still come out a little bit grainy. You can see how it's kind of grainy and might even need to be an hour-long render. That's how it is with subsurface scattering. It's pretty computationally expensive. I do see a couple little things I want to tweak here while we're just waiting. While we got the last few minutes. I'm going to make these sphere things here. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. Uh-oh. So there's a question, how did I get the black lines? So when I made the tail, originally it was with the curve multitube, right? And so coincidentally, the curve multitube has 8 sides to it, which worked out nicely because there's 8 of these black lines. So then I was just able to just increase the resolution of it, add some edge loops, and then isolate some polygroups every 8th, or a total of 8 poly loops, right? And then extract that out as a separate object. See how that render is coming. All right, getting close to done, but you know what? It's kind of grainy still. I wish there was a way in Keyshot where you could say it. Yeah, I know I told it I originally wanted 10 minutes, but can you render another 10 minutes instead of having to start over again? But it's all good. It's just a test render anyway. Oh, that's nice. I turned on the viewport ambient occlusion, so that gives a nice little effect. Turn on anti-aliasing as well. So that helps the details pop out a little bit more. You know what? I'll do a turntable of this. But I'll do it once the render finishes because it's eating up my processor. Oh, actually, it did finish. All right, so yeah, there's the render. It's a little bit grainy. I'd probably render it for maybe even up to an hour. And also some of these shadow lines get a little harsh, but that's with the subsurface scattering materials. That's what happens with those. So the more you let it render, the more that all softens out. So, but I won't make you guys watch that. All right, well, that's the time for today. Thanks, you guys. It's been great chatting with you. So next week, I'm not going to be doing the live stream because this coming weekend is the Sculpt Off. And I think that the Monday after that is the ZBrush Summit. And so there's not